Earth's Sublime Origins Inside the Great Central Sun, read by Dr. Shekina. Our memories go back to the very origins of Earth within the Great Central Sun, about 15 billion years ago, as measured by time, as Earth currently calculates it, or 60 billion human years. Time is deceiving in present time, as there are much shorter cycles than those that occurred when Earth existed inside the Great Central Sun. One rotation of Earth around her sun inside the Great Central Sun took 100,000 years in her measurement. Time flowed much slower during this time per year as well. Earth was also a 160th dimensional semi-etheric vessel that was 1,000-fold larger than in present time. Earth's surface was layered in the shape of a spiral that began in the Aurora, or core of her body, and this extended out to the outer surface, creating a multi-layered place for life of all kinds to flourish. Most kingdoms existed inside and within the spiraling land, and not upon the surface of Earth as today, as there was sufficient space and air between the layers of Earth. The layers were often several miles apart, creating a ceiling of sorts that was inhabited by hanging crystals and large minerals of all kinds. The inner Earth at this time holds this shape, but without all of the layers. The crystals refracted the light of the aurora up through the inside of Earth's spiraling land, and the light emanated down through the surface from other creations or suns, and refracted light through the crystals within the spiraling ceilings. Light also moved up through the floor of each layer, as the dirt itself was not opaque as it is today, but rather tiny, translucent, round crystals. Flora and fauna grew in a bed of tiny translucent crystals, which provided a place to root and grow very tall, sometimes as high as the crystals hanging from the floor above. Water and waterfalls were prevalent as well, along with lakes, rivers, and streams throughout Earth's spiraling core. Much like a terrarium or greenhouse, the water rose into the air, creating clouds that would condense against the crystals and then shower back down upon the plants and trees and land again. There were many animals of both aquatic and land-based natures that roamed through the plants and trees or lived within the lakes and streams. These animals were semi-etheric and lived not from consuming anything other than the air. In like kind, the aquatic species, such as dolphins and whales, existed from the air, and the fish obtained their sustenance from inhaling the water. The outbreath of the animals and fish provided the sustenance for all plant kingdoms, both of the land and the aquatic in nature, and the outbreath of the plants provided the sustenance for the animals or fish in a symbiotic relationship. Nothing died in this time period. Animals did not give birth to young only to die of old age. Instead, each animal kingdom had been cast by soul and was to continue to exist until soul was complete with the experience and all ascended home together and into the non-physical again. This was to be the future cycle of the Great Central Sun and all cast within her. Humans lived alongside the animals and amongst the spiraling landscape. The humans existed to assist with the conscious direction of the consensus reality and all kingdoms therein. There were not large numbers of humans as today. Our records show that there were only 18 tribes of 6 each living upon all of Earth in this era. These humans were not born as in present time, but were cast by soul directly from the non-physical to the physical. Humans could teleport and levitate. They did not eat or sleep. Most of their time was spent consciously dreaming and attending to the maintenance of the consensus when they were not enjoying the beauty of their surroundings. The fall of Earth. The vibrancy of energy flow of the plants, animals, minerals, and aquatic life could be perceived by the naked eye of all humans. Perhaps in perceiving the chi flowing from Earth and all kingdoms, it was unlikely that these humans would ever think that Earth was not alive. Humans played the role of watching the energy movement and repairing that which became problematic. However, something happened over time. Now we understand that the outer edges of the great central sun began to be pulled apart from that which has continued to exist in between the boundaries of suns for many expansion and contraction cycles within the Tao. These forces rely upon the next expansion of each successive great central sun to subsist. And they began to pull apart the great central sun at her boundaries or edges. Earth was near enough the edge of the great central sun to begin to be affected by the manipulations of other creations outside of the great central sun's boundaries. One by one, the creations closest to the great central sun's boundaries began to fall in vibration due to the manipulations from the outside in that caused a loss of life force. That which was bright and beautiful began to go sour and off-key in sound and became increasingly opaque in color. In the shift, the minerals became increasingly opaque over time and failed to allow as much light to flow through the spiraling layers of Earth's core. As the plants received less light, they began to die. Those plant kingdoms that survived mutated, becoming denser and required less light to subsist. The fall of the plant kingdoms caused an alteration to the air that all animals and humans breathe, as our out-breath altered in biochemistry. The animals and humans relying upon the air for sustenance then likewise fell as they did not receive the proper nutrients to sustain their biology. At first, the falls of the humans, animals, and aquatic kingdoms was not noticeable, as it was gradual enough to not be perceived day by day. By the time the humans managing the earth and the energy awakened to the fact that something was not right, they were unable to see how to rectify the dwindling light. Perhaps they could not see what to do, as they knew nothing of what existed outside of the boundaries of the great central sun, or how to deal with these dark forces. It was these dark forces outside of the great central sun that were taking the life of Terra and all upon her to sustain their own existence. The end result was a continuous fall that was ongoing and recurrent for 56 billion years. Earth sank from a 160th dimensional vessel to a dense 25th dimensional vessel that was then expelled outside the boundaries of the great central sun altogether. Earth fractured as she left the boundary of the great central sun. This boundary is a semi-etheric membrane that acts as a barrier of thought form. The boundary is designed to contain that which belongs to the casting of the great central sun in any cycle until one ascends home. The boundary caused large portions of Earth to shatter as she exited her great central sun. As a result, Earth broke into 18 different and smaller 25th dimensional stars in the shape of a dragon. Dragons are a part of Earth's casting and were some of the most powerful animals that roamed Earth's land at another time in history, and perhaps it is why she became a constellation in the shape of a dragon. Majestic dragons. Dragons existed of many colors in the physical when Earth was a part of the great central sun. Dragons could fly as well as swim. In current human mythology, dragons are fire-breathing. In the great central sun, dragons would breathe in the fire element of the Aurora or other suns that they flew and traveled to, and breathe out the air, earth, or water element. Dragons were the only kingdom that could travel between creations as they had large wings. Sometimes humans rode upon the dragon's back to other creations for gatherings to understand the problems occurring within the great central sun. This is where the memory of riding upon the dragon's back comes from in human lore. Dragons would balance the water element of Earth by adding more fire to create steam, causing more rain to fall if a particular region within Earth's core became too dry. Dragons would breathe fire into the air to cause the wind to blow in order to transport the clouds where the moisture was required. In essence, the dragon kingdom managed the weather and balanced the elements of air, water, fire, and earth for the consensus known as Earth. We hope you have enjoyed this presentation on Earth's origins inside the great central sun. We look forward to speaking with you again. Blessings.